I don't believe, I don't know if you guys were here when the security guy came by. I was questioning, like, are you serious?
But everybody's always offended, you know, I don't know if it was here in California or somewhere else, but they were talking about, teaching the teachers, arming the teachers.
Yeah.
And everybody was up in arms, you know, and all this other stuff, but then again, you know, they have no other solutions, nothing else, you know, to try to prevent or stop this, but when they talked about putting AR-15s in, somewhere in it, locked and secured, where only staff would have access to prevent a school shoot, everyone was up in arms about it.
Let's go back to that school, wherever, the one you were talking about. If we had security, but they actually had their AR-15s slung. Think about it.
The daycare here has like this system where like it says you're supposed to show your ID and they'll buzz you in and stuff like that, but it doesn't work. Like you could just walk in and they buzz you in, and it's kind of like, what was the point of having this security and this setup if you're not going to use it? Like I was walking my son, I'm like, they could just put a gun right here and shoot you, and then.
Well, that happened a couple years ago.
That would just be, and then they would get my baby
The elementary
back.
school here in San Bernardino. Well, the guy was upset with his wife or girlfriend or whatever, and they knew him, oh, they buzzed him in, he went in and shot her, and shot a student.
Oh yeah, the little boy.
That's the bottom line. Somebody wants to cause you harm, they're going to. Everything else is an attempt to deter the behavior. Whether or not successful, a lot of it depends on luck. You get lucky, you might be able to really stop someone. But working in prisons with felons, I mean, the worst of the worst, being threatened. When I first started, daily basis, I'm gonna kill you, I know where you live, I'm gonna kill you, that's all I ever heard. I'm like, come kill me, get it over with. They can get to you. Okay, they can get to you anywhere. My best friend had the Western Familia sent his wife, when we were at work, sent his wife a dozen black roses to the house because they were going to kill him. She freaked out about it. They're divorced now, but anyway, she freaked out about it, thinking, oh my God, they're going to kill him. They can get you anytime, anywhere. They tell you, oh, be careful, don't let them know your first name, don't let them do. They know everything about you. That's really the truth. Officers, you want to work on the street? You guys didn't do this. But some of the reports that did the police officer interviews said that the officer wouldn't give them their first name because it was a security issue. Like, you moron. What the hell do I care about your first name? I can find anything I want about you online. Teachers, right now, one of the classes I'm attending are discussing whether or not students should have personal home numbers or personal cell numbers. They think it is a security issue for students to have teachers' cell numbers. I told them I put it all in my syllabus. I put it online. I encourage you to contact me if you have a question or an issue. And they thought that was bizarre. I said, what the hell are you guys going to do to me? That a criminal wouldn't want to do or already had done. But they really were leery about it. And I have to respect their position. I don't have to agree with it, but I do respect it.
Well, honestly, you could just put somebody's name in their what city they live in, and then their number will come up. Like, you don't have to.
What's the big deal?
It's like, it's not that hard.
It really isn't. So that goes back to, if somebody wants to cause you harm, don't think you're safe anywhere. Whether you're in uniform, whether you're armed, doesn't matter. Feel pretty safe now, don't you? Yeah, feel pretty safe. Good. That's up to you. The safety is your responsibility. Protect yourselves. Okay, here's some of the motivations for terrorism. This is what they hope to achieve. Widespread fear. I'm so afraid I won't even go out anymore. I'll never go to another concert. Check, terrorist wing. Obtain worldwide, national, local recognition. That's why they claim, ISIS said that they were responsible for the shooting. No, they weren't. But they want the credit for it. Harass, weaken, embarrass government security forces so that the government overreacts. It appears repressive. You're supposed to be fighting the terrorists. Why are you hassling me? I'm no terrorist. Why do you want to search my luggage? Why do I have to go like this? You should be doing that to the terrorists. It works. It really works. They do steal, extort money, equipment, destroy facilities, disrupt lines of communication, create doubt that the government is capable of protecting you. That's their goal. And when you cower because of what's happening out there, they win. And I don't mean you individually. You as a citizen, you as your community, as a student, as an employee, whatever you applies to. Once you change your daily routine because of fear, they win. Discourage foreign investments, tourism, assist programs that affect the country's target economy, support government in power. The Hoover Dam, the one I was telling you about. Golden Gate Bridge, they had heightened security. Water resources, tunnels was another one. The tunnels. And of course, New York, they heightened security all over the place. Costs you money. These people have to be paid, and that's a lot of overtime. We spend a lot of money in a reaction. Influence government decisions. Free prisoners. Release them from Guantanamo. We don't hear that anymore, but that used to be a normal request from the terrorists. They would strike and then order that the government release these political prisoners from Guantanamo Bay, or they would strike again. Just the fear would cause the government to even consider it. Satisfy vengeance, turn in the tide in guerrilla war by forcing government to concentrate their efforts in urban areas. Urban warfare. That's ugly. Anybody can be your enemy. You have no idea. I've never been in combat. I go off of what my son told me and what I read, especially Tom Clancy books. It's ugly. Mm-hmm. You don't know. They use children. Okay, children to cause harm. It's the guerrilla warfare is just danger. It's not like the old civil wars, European wars. Military form lines, and then get up and just walk and march into each other and shoot each other and then stab you with a bayonet. Not anymore. They hide up in trees. Vietnam taught us a lesson. Exactly. Vietnam taught us real guerrilla warfare. We learn from those type of tactics. How do you stop it? How do you prevent it? It's scary. It's really scary. And we're very fortunate we don't have that here. Maybe Detroit comes pretty close. Yeah. But other than that, yeah. Detroit's pretty scary. Yeah. Methods. How terrorists further their agenda. Arson, explosives, and bombs. Weapons of mass destruction. Weapons of mass destruction takes a lot of resources to implement. So a lot of the smaller terrorist cells do not have the means. A state government acting as a terrorist, they do. Iraq was the big one. Afghanistan. Do they have weapons of mass destruction? Well, it turns out they didn't. Baloney. They read about Iraq and what they did to their own people with biological warfare. It was sad. Genocide. Kidnappers and hostage takings, active shooters. I'm taking this person as ransom. Let's say we grab a senator. I take Senator Chooks, and I'm holding a ransom. And unless you release these prisoners, we're going to kill you. Do we negotiate for a release? No. If you work in a correction setting, you sign away your life. That if you are ever taken hostage, they will not negotiate for your release, period. That's true, Rosa. You know when you go in to work in these settings, if you're taken hostage, they're not going to negotiate for you. And that's part of, at least when I went through testing, because me and my brother worked together. And they asked me, well, what if it was your brother? Shit, I got other sisters, I don't need another brother. They can have him.
What if it was your wife?
It's
This wife,
tough,
a
but
wife.
no. Yeah, my current one. No, you still can't. You cannot negotiate. Because what that does, it puts a target on everybody. If these people know in advance, whether they're prisoners or terrorists, if they know you have value, if we were to take you, we created a whole bunch of targets. But they know as well as we do, we're not going to negotiate for your release. So don't bother. You have no value. And it works. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I saw something in the news maybe a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago maybe, and there was a female, she's a citizen of the United States, went abroad, went and, was indoctrinated somewhat by ISIS, got pregnant, and now she says that she's learned the error of her ways and she wants to come back because she's an American citizen.
Ooh, that's scary.
So what's your take on that? You
Sleeper.
think she should be allowed to
No.
come back, or should she?
My personal opinion, no. That's a sleeper to me. A sleeper cell. She's gonna come back, raise that kid to believe as a terrorist move, and they're just planning new spies within our own country. No. I don't know if I can say that because I'm not attached to that. It gets harder if you have a relationship then. But still, no.
Isn't there a senator or a lawyer or something like that in the same position?
Lawyer should be shot.
Like she has,
Just kidding,
ties,
just kidding.
What the
she has
hell?
ties to ISIS or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. And she's like in the same position and people don't believe that she should be able to have that title that she has because she has ties to ISIS or whatever.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's
And she has
actually,
government information now
yeah.
in that position.
Once they betray that trust, it's done. You can't get them back in. You'll never trust them again. So no, I still, nope, ain't happening. Okay, so that's terrorism.
Kinda like
This
that
is how they
movie
motivate
Salt.
themselves, huh?
That movie Salt.
Salt?
Yeah, like they raised the girl, right, and then they sent her to America, and then they adopted her, and like basically she became one of the most dangerous spies.
Dangerous line. Especially during the Cold War, if you guys are familiar with what Russia was doing back then, they actually built cities to resemble the United States, American cities, and they would send families there to familiarize themselves with the American way. But the intent was always for them to come to the United States and embed themselves within our culture and serve as spies to pass on information. And that's true. Clancy, who said Clancy earlier? If you read a lot of Clancy, he's actually gone in for questioning before Congress how he got a lot of the information he did. He writes so real, especially when it comes to submarine and nuclear technologies. They wonder, where the heck's he getting this information from? So he's no joke. Of course, he takes a lot of liberties, artistic liberty, but a lot of this information is factual, based on fact. I think we might be getting to a stop. We'll stop here with agro-terrorism. Is it a real threat? And we'll pick this up on Monday. Have a good weekend, guys. Take care.